Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace back again with another video. Yesterday I attempted to do a video where the plan was to show my entire NES game collection all in one video. And I got to the point where the video was 2 hours long and I still had about a third of my collection to go. Now, even though this looks like a decent sized collection, this isn't by any means everything I have. You are not seeing, for example, any of the homebrew or graphical hacks or reproductions of completed prototypes, or prototypes that weren't completed but have been completed and have been published. You see some examples of boxed ones, but I have quite a few homebrews for the NES that are not boxed. You're not seeing those. Not seeing the Tengen, the Camerica, the Color Dreams, the Wisdom Tree, or anything like that. So I have a fairly decent sized collection, and I am trying to talk the wife into going out to Game Over the weekend. We had to have the plumber out, and actually it turned out to be a lot cheaper than we thought it was going to be. The company that replumbed our house about 4 or 5 years ago to the tune of $5,000 did a really bad job. If there was something they could do wrong, that's the way they did it. And this plumber that we called out from another company that was highly recommended, he was snaking the whole system. And after he was finished, I went and flushed all the toilets to make sure they worked okay. And the one in the front bathroom just gushed out water. I reached back there and there was a huge hole. What had happened was the snake had punctured a hole in the back of that toilet. And he said the only way that could have been possible, I mean, he explained all the technical terms, but it was plumbed wrong. So he put in a brand new toilet and didn't cost us a cent. He worked on our air conditioner because we had been having problems with it. Didn't charge us a cent. So we're holding on to this plumber. Okay, now I've also, in addition to the NES games that you see here, I have been sorting through my comic book collection. And I don't have everything out, but I have about 1,000 that are out. You might notice some British comics there. British comics are different from American comics in a number of ways. First of all, American comics tend to be published monthly, whereas British comics are published weekly. And where the Amazing Spider-Man would have his own book here, and the Fantastic Four would have their own book, and the Incredible Hulk would have his own book, so forth. The one you see in the back is called The Mighty World of Marvel, and it says Hulk on it, but there's a Hulk story, there's a Fantastic Four story, there is a Daredevil story, etc. They're serialized. If you're familiar with the British comic book series 2000 AD, which serialized Judge Dredd and one of my personal favorites, Time Twisters and Strontium Dog and Rogue Troopers, etc. When those were reprinted in the United States, or reprinted for the United States, some were actually printed in Canada and some in Spain, but they were made for the American market, and the company that publishes that magazine, that comic book, you'll notice their magazine size was smart. They set up an American, or I should say North American, distribution and publishing arm to publish all of their stuff in North America. It started off with Eagle Comics and then Quality Comics and then eventually to Fleetway Quality. But anyway, really cool. And the one you see up front is called Eagle and Tiger. I've been reading this book on British comics. In fact, I've read it twice. And they mentioned that unlike, or he mentioned, the American market, where if a title started to lag in sales, it would be canceled. In the UK, they would take a title that had slagging sales and they would merge it with a title that had strong sales. For example, they would merge Tiger with Eagle to form Eagle and Tiger. That wasn't done with the Mighty World of Marvel. But anyway, I'm working on sorting through my comics, but I'm buying about 100 to 150 a week, so it's going to take me a while to get everything sorted before I show it, because I'm trying to get everything in alphabetical order. One little surprise my wife had for me was she took me to a website, local theater here in Jacksonville is going to be putting on 3 shows of the musical Mamma Mia. Prices range from $80 to $311. And all 3 shows are almost sold out. We may have to get the most expensive tickets because the cheaper tickets are going rapidly and there aren't many left. We're talking about 1 to 2 tickets for sale in each section for each of the 3 shows. They probably could have sprung for a 4th show. So if everything goes according to plan, I'm going to be seeing Mamma Mia on stage. We already have the movie, but the movie cut out one of the songs that was originally in it, or going to be in it, called The Name of the Game, and I'm curious to see if it's in the stage production. But anyway, that is enough of me babbling. Oh, one other thing. I just happened to think about this. Recently, NinkComPoop, I can't remember if that was one of the channels that Steve Benway shouted out or not. He has this habit of shouting out channels, and I go in and I check them out, and I invariably subscribe to them. I did that with Lomboy Post 1975, highly recommended. Pattimus, highly recommended. And I believe he did it with NinkComPoop. But in any event, I really like her. She's got really bright red hair. And for the longest time I thought it was a wig, but the way she talks, I'm thinking it's her natural hair. But anyway, she's got a very exuberant, upbeat personality, and she did a video where she dug out some of her old diaries from several years ago, and she was reading entries from them. And I was curious if you would be interested in me doing videos of journal entries and so forth. Just something I'm throwing out there. Please remember to rate, subscribe, and favor. And until next time, stay awesome.